Matter if you don't have any symptoms or conditions. You have nothing wrong with you, at least in the moment. Maybe down the road you'll have something wrong with you, because everybody's going to have something wrong with them regardless of what's going on. But it could be a trigger that you're sensitive to, because there's lots of triggers out there all over the place, everywhere. One of the triggers that's happening right now for people that's not good for their health because of what they're struggling with and everything else is environmental disaster, air quality stuff going on, fires, right? Fires that have been saying for years are not just naturally caused. So, and that's a whole nother story. But regardless, fires that are happening is a big problem. And it isn't just the smoke itself. It's the smoke plus so many other things burning within that fire. So it's not just the wood smoke of the trees and the leaves and the woods. It's more than that. It's much more. It's when junk in the woods gets lit up with it. It's when houses get lit up with it, with all that treated lumber. And then it's all of the fire flame retardants that are dropped over and over and over again from the sky onto the fires. And that stuff travels hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles, and it's in the air. And it's just white powder that's floating in the air. And it floats endlessly. And then we breathe it in. So I'm talking about air quality tools, but I'm going to talk about some other stuff too, because there's lots of triggers that bring people down and bring their health down and brings them to such, a susceptible place. And we don't want to be so susceptible. We want to be empowered no matter what we're up against, no matter what we're breathing in, no matter what we're seeing, no matter what's going on in our life. We want to be empowered and strengthened. And that's really a critical part of it. Anyway, you guys, I want to talk a little bit about all of it. I have a PDF. And it's not $99, and it's not $250, and it's not $39.99. The PDF is free. It cost money to make. I had to have a whole team working on it. It's an incredible PDF, and it's free. Free. Because it's not always about the money. It's about making sure you can provide whatever you can for people, so they got every fighting chance. So I wanted to make sure I do another free PDF, Environmental Disaster Air Quality Tools by Anthony William, the medical medium. It's a free download, medicalmedium.com. Environmental Disaster Air Quality Tools. Environmental disasters happen all the time on this planet, purposely or not on purpose, causing the air to become polluted and toxic, often from smoke burning and fires. It's not just the smoke itself that causes harm to our health, but also the chemicals and other toxins that are in the air. The link is in the profile, and the link is in the description. You can download it free right there, right in the link in the profile and description. How cool is that? It's not just the smoke itself that causes harm to our health, but also the chemicals and other toxins that are in the air. For example, when a building burns, there are countless chemicals that burn and get into the air. Or when fire retardants are sprayed, dumped on the fires endlessly, there are chemicals in that float around forever. Toxic heavy metals are one of the things that's in those flame retardants. And they become a part of the dust and smoke that people and animals are all breathing in all the time. You may be somebody that's like, well, you know what? I don't need to watch this right now because I'm not dealing with any kind of fire stuff. But I'm going to talk about other triggers. I'm going to talk about sensitivities, things that break down our immune system and make us susceptible. Aside from causing the more obvious breathing and lung issues, poor air quality can lower the immune system. What? Poor air quality can lower the immune system and be a trigger to all kinds of chronic illnesses, symptoms, and conditions, both in the short term and long after the environmental disaster or exposure has occurred. So here's the thing. You might be out of the woods by now. Maybe you don't smell anything anymore, but then something kind of develops later. It's aftershock. It's kind of like that car accident that you were in. Everything felt fine. You opened your car door, you got out, you're like, wait a minute, I think I'm okay. Whew, I think I'm all right. Okay, let me just go find out this person's insurance information. Maybe we'll call the police and have a, traffic cop out here. And everything's good. You go home. You don't need to go to a hospital. You go home and then it hits you as the night goes on, or the next day, or 2 weeks later. So our immune system can be lowered, triggering chronic illness, symptoms, conditions, both in the short term and long after the environmental disaster or exposure has occurred. You guys are wondering what I'm reading? I'm reading the free PDF you can download. Link is in a profile. Link is in the description. Good to see you guys, by the way. One way pollutants in the air can be problematic is because they not only lower the immune system, lower the immune system, they also provide food for viruses that then release neurotoxins and dermatoxins. Info has been all about viruses for years and years and years, decades. Now they're a virus genius now. Causing symptoms and conditions such as headaches and migraines, fatigue, eczema, psoriasis, aches and pains, sleep problems, autoimmune disorders, brain fog, and so much more. A flare-up and worsening of symptoms and conditions you already have struggled with or currently struggle with, or the onset of new symptoms and conditions can occur, especially after heavier prolonged exposure to poor air quality, or if your immune system is already struggling. Sounds like a drug commercial, almost like, right? Look out for side effects you might have. Your side effects may be bleeding. Your side effects may be blah, blah, blah. See, what happens is that people don't realize what they're dealing with. They're dealing with a lot of different viruses inside their body, low-grade viral issues, bacteria like streptococcus. Those things amp up when your immune system drops. So we walk around with our immune system hopefully intact and strong. And then as our immune system drops and it gets triggered by chemicals and pollutants in the air and all that, then viral issues rise up. Dr. Fon says it's true nowadays. When you Google autoimmune disease plus EBV, there are so many articles. 1 to 2 years ago, it wasn't there. 4 years ago, definitely wasn't there. 5 years ago, no. Info putting it out there. Yep. We don't need to be fearful of these kinds of events out there that happen and their impact on our health. They're outside of our control. We can't control. We can think a fire to not happen. We can try to stop a fire with our mind. We can stand there on the edge of the woods and just say, fire, die down. And we can use every single thing we have. We can use our psychic power, powerful psychic abilities. We can try to stop that fire, but it doesn't mean you're going to be able to stop it that way. Some things are going to be out of our control. And these fires that are started by evildoers or just started because 2 bunny rabbits in the woods were rubbing 2 sticks together and started a fire. We think this natural fire disaster that's taken over thousands upon thousands of countless acres was started with 2 bunny rabbits that were trying to start the fire by whittling together 2 pieces of wood because they were cold. Because you believe everything, right? Just put it on the news. 2 bunny rabbits were chilly that night and they were rubbing sticks together and they started the fire. That's what our research has shown. We don't need to be fearful of these kinds of events. And other events too that happened. You remember Fukushima? Yeah. What was it, 2011? Fukushima? All that radiation heading to the West Coast, heading to California. All that radiation particle just heading to California coast and Hawaii. People in Hawaii would glow in the dark after that. It's unbelievable, really, when you think about it. That's why it's critical to do some of the medical medium tools, because to work on like radiation exposure, I have a friend that lives in Hawaii, and they're still doing, my friend is still, and their family are still doing medical medium tools for anti-radiation and everything else because of that whole Fukushima thing there. And it's not like anybody told everybody in Hawaii, like, you might want to leave Hawaii for a little while, but no, that's not how it works. We're off the beaten path right now, so hang on, we'll get back on the path. We need to be equipped and empowered for those times when we do have to live with poor air quality and toxic exposures and give our bodies the extra care they need. You guys, if you just got on here, I'm reading this incredible PDF. I printed it out. You can print it out. Download it for free. It's not $39.99 or anything else. It's for free, and it's a killer one. It's packed. I'll talk a little bit about what it has in it, but it's jam-packed. I miss you guys. It's so great to be here. This guide gives you a range of simple and actionable tools. Tools you can use when you need them. You can implement them or choose what resonates with you and what you can manage. Times are tough for many people on this planet, and we need tools like this, which is great. So I want to make one of the tools, if you guys don't mind. And I might read a little bit more too, if I'm not boring you. Hopefully I'm not boring you. I am at your service. I am at your disposal today. Okay. All right, so check this out, right? Honey, lemon, ginger water. So simple, so easy. Like, so easy. I don't have a grater. So, by the way, you guys, I'm back on TikTok. It's not my old account. It's a new account. I'm not going to tell you what happened there. But many of you know. I was the only one that was permanently banned on there. For no reason. Alright. But I'm back on TikTok. So check me out when you get a chance. Because I'm going to be putting some exclusive content. Somebody's going to say, he's not the only one. No, I was the only one. Maybe one of the only ones that in health. The only one in health. How about that? All right. So I'm chopping up a little bit of ginger. Supposed to grate it, but I'm going to finely chop it. It tells you when you're doing something right. You just get so many people upset everywhere. The more people that get healed, the more shit you get. All right. Enough about me. So I got some chopped up ginger right there. What I'm going to do is put it in here. I'm going to put it on top of here. So let me just get it into my little strainer. Boom. You don't use hot water. Just, just regular temperature water. And I will definitely not, and I repeat, not spill it on my PDF I just printed out. So I'm going to let that steep for 15 minutes. That's what you do. This is so simple, but it's powerful. Don't underestimate ever lemon, ginger, and honey in water. Don't underestimate it. It's powerful. Makes a difference. Big difference. All right. I want to show you this little trick too before we talk about that as well. First of all, I got my celery juice right here. It's been sitting for a little while. Made it earlier. You know how it settles sometimes, right? You can shake it up before you drink it. Celery juice, that's another powerful tool for when you're dealing with immune system antagonizers, because that's what I call it. So not just air quality issues or immune system antagonizers, but so many other things are too. And I love that celery juice for that. It's about keeping our immune system strong. Why? Why even bother keeping our immune system strong? What's the reason? Who cares? Who cares if everybody's immune system gets dropped or gets tackled or starts to break down? Who cares? We should all care. So when our immune system starts to break down, shit hits the fan, and we have to be careful. We want our immune system nice and strong. We want it to do its job. We want it to conquer invaders. So I'm letting this steep for a little bit. I want to show you this little trick right here. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there just freaking out about masks, right? There's a just massive mask war out there. Masks, you need masks. The masks are great. Don't wear masks ever. They're killing you. Masks are good. Masks are bad. Masks are good, bad, bad, good, bad, bad, bad. And everybody wants to kill each other over masks. This is not a freaking mask. So I just want to make that clear because someone's going to think this is a mask. And then they're going to want to cancel AW over that. This is a wet cloth, right? So, see, doesn't even ring out. Oh, it rings out a little bit. So it's nice and good. So what am I doing with this? This is an incredible tool right here when you're dealing with smoke and smoke pollutants, all that, inhalants, all that stuff. All the toxins that are in the air from the fires right here. Now, somebody who's really, really smart, they believe they're really smart. They're going to say, how is this going to filter smoke? It's thin. It's a dishcloth, wash towel, whatever, washcloth. How is it going to do it? What happens is when you wet it, it swells the cotton. It swells the fabric. And it swells it together, like it spreads it out. So this is important to know. And then when it's wet, the moisture is what captures the flame retardants, the dust, the pollution, the sea trails, the whatever. Now, it's not perfect by any means. Some will escape, but it brings it down greatly if you're in a serious situation, especially if you're running from the house to the car, especially if you're, if you're out somewhere, whatever it is, and you're stuck in it. If you have a bottle of water and you have a piece of cloth, even a t-shirt in your car, whatever, and you wet that, it's really powerful. And so what you can do with this is you can put it just like this. And what you're doing is you're giving yourself lots of room in there. So you're making a pocket in there. And those pollutants, that smoke, that ash, those flame retardants, those chemicals, all of it start getting trapped in here. Because the moisture is what does it. If this was dry, it wouldn't do it. It just would not work. The fabric wouldn't swell because that's what it does. It like swells itself shut when it's wet. And so as you're breathing, you're pulling in all that stuff through the water in the fabric. The water is what captures everything. So it has to be moist like that. Don't run towards a fire in the smoke. I mean, like, it doesn't matter. I have my wet towel. I'm going to go find some fire. I'm going to go find somebody's fire pit. Then go look over the fire pit and just like, don't do that, whatever you do. But death by 1,000 cuts. Quiet Roseman says, over there on IG. Death by 1,000 cuts. Medical medium term used in health regarding to our health. Breaking down our immune system, breaking down our body, breaking down our organs, all the different cuts out there. I can name so many in a row really quick too. It's not even just stuff like that are triggers, but stuff that's out there that people are using every day. There's so many triggers out there that don't help us. There's so many different things that are not helpful. All right, let's finish making this right here if you guys don't mind. straining this. Okay. Do it at 10, 15 minutes. I like 15 minutes. That should be pretty good right there. Get a lemon in here. I'm going to squeeze some lemon in here. Just like this. Of course, I got lemon juice on my PDF. Darn. All right. And then we're going to get some honey in here too. I like doing things live. Cut. Got to edit that. We got to do an edit. You guys, we got to edit this. I don't want that on there for everybody to see. I want it to be perfect. Lemon, honey, ginger water. Honey is antimicrobial, antibacterial, but it's more than that. It's glucose. Glucose protects the brain when you're in fear. It's a glucose. It's so easy to get to the brain. Honey goes right to the brain. And then you got all the trace minerals, phytochemical compounds, and the liver too. Info, the glucose that's preserved in the liver. All of that, right? The liver helps flush out toxins too. That's what it does. The liver helps to flush out toxins, and then more glucose is used out of your liver. The body needs the glucose. The honey is a great source of glucose regenerator, storer. Okay. I like trying to use some different words, right? Sometimes they're not so great, but they're good enough, I think. All right, so that's this. Can I sip this if you guys don't mind? That's so good. Ah, I love it. Love that very much. All right. So I want to go through this PDF a little bit for a couple of minutes before I read a little bit more. So what I really like about this PDF is you got the 7 top supplements right there. And you'll see them. I have them out here. 7 top supplements for air quality problems, immune system building, all of it. You got the propolis right there. You got the B12. You got the zinc. You got the micro C. You got the glutathione. It's incredible for detoxification right there. Helps the body to naturally detox. Bodies that are sick and filled with garbage and filled with junk. Livers that are sick and filled with garbage and filled with junk for years, decades. And then on top of that, we get problems where all of a sudden we're breathing in all the fire smoke or breathing in sea trails. That's another one all on its own. All the sea trails that we're inhaling and breathing in, dumping on us. We live in it. It's being, dropped on us every day. So I love things like the glutathione. That's the Vimergy one. You guys know I endorse these guys. The best stuff out there. And that's the micro C. Doesn't burn a hole in your stomach. When someone says vitamin C to me, I'm always just like, vitamin C, really? Yeah, I'm on vitamin C. Really? I hope you're not burning a hole in your gut with that ascorbic acid. And so what I love about the Vimergy micro C, it's not all that ascorbic acid so hard on the stomach, so hard on the intestinal linings, We worry about that with people when they're doing vitamin C out there and they think they got a good vitamin C and it's just like, eek. So we got the zinc, liquid zinc sulfate, we got that one. We got the B12, we got the propolis. So good. All of those immune system builders, keeping our immune system strong. And it matters because what happens after we breathe in toxins and poisons and environmental junk and garbage and everything else and sea trails and flame retardants, and that's just some things, and pesticides, herbicides, whatever it is that we're breathing in or taking in, especially if it's burning, whatever it is, it drops the immune system. Why? Because our immune cells have to gobble it up. And that's something people don't realize, that our immune cells have to eat all the garbage and junk. So if you're breathing in smoke, all of the immune cells in the body are now just eating smoke. That's all it's doing. And then the ball is dropped. That's how it goes wrong. It's one thing to say, oh yeah, immune system. Yeah, I learned something the other day. You know, the immune system is, it weakens when you breathe in fire. I heard some guy talking, when you breathe in bad stuff, your immune system has a problem, right? It's one thing to look at it that way. It's another to know why. It's because your immune cells are eating all of that crap that was in that smoke. That smoke enters into your body. It's like, you know, go to a barbecue or go to a barbecue restaurant and they're smoking. You're like, yeah, we use oak wood to smoke our pigs. And look, let's open up this big old thing and there it is right there. We got a whole half a pig here. We got a whole brisket here. We got a whole another half a pig. We got 2 turkeys here. We got 4 chickens down here. And we're smoking this stuff. And we got the oak. We're doing the oak logs. That's what we do at our bar, at our grill, at our barbecue. And that smoke enters into every pore and every single cell in that pig's body and in that brisket, in that cow's body, and in those chickens' body. It enters in. It cuts right through it like no tomorrow. That's what it does. And when we get it on our skin, it cuts through in us. And we get it in our lungs, it cuts through in us. It's like we're smoked pigs, you know, ready for a barbecue. And then our immune system has to gobble up every single bit of it, every little particle it can possibly gobble up, every toxin it can gobble up. And that's what happens, is our immune system has to clean up the mess. And then our immune cells get filled up and they die. It's not like they can restore. They're actually ending their life cycle because of this stuff. So when we get exposure, our immune cells have to eat it all up, and then our immune cells are spent. They're spent. It's not like they recharge. Many of them eat all that garbage up, and they die with that stuff. And you can see it, and then it leaves your body inside those dead immune cells, which is really interesting. So, but then we're lowered immune system. 2 reasons why we have the lowered immune system. One is because our immune system's working so hard eating all the junk and garbage that we're breathing in or getting exposed to. And the other is because it just, in the end, takes time to restore immune cells. We stay low for a while when that happens. So when we're exposed to something, it could be a week later, 2 weeks later, and we start getting symptoms, and then we're like wondering, why are we getting symptoms? Like, why am I getting symptoms? What did I do 2 weeks ago? What happened? Or what did I do today is what it is. So people are like, what did I do today? What did I do wrong? How come I'm kicked back a couple of steps? How come I don't feel good? How come I feel like I'm 3 steps back, 4 steps back? What am I doing wrong right now? Oh, I had a celery juice this morning. Maybe it was the celery juice that did it. No, it was the fire and the smoke and the stuff from a month ago, from 3 weeks ago. It was that emotional experience from a month ago. It was from that breakup from a month ago. Let's hit other different triggers. Let's hit a lot of different triggers. Let's go there now. Here's some common triggers right here. Lowers the immune system greatly. Mold is one right there, all on its own. You're exposed to mold. Extensive blood draw. I talk about that all the time, you guys, right? You have a blood test a month ago, and you're literally feeling that effect a month later. Talk about that. I'm not against blood tests. You guys know the whole blood draw information from Medical Medium. It's really comprehensive. Hey, W, how important are supplements while healing? Well, let's cover that a little bit. I take supplements. I'm under stress. I burn the midnight oil. I burn the candle at both ends. I mean, that's what I do. So I use supplements for sure. If I was somebody that was sick, if I had symptoms, I would use supplements. If somebody in my family was sick, I would have them doing supplements. But it depends on what supplements you're talking about, because there's a lot of supplements out there that are not a great thing, not helpful. They have all those natural flavors in it, all that citric acid in it, all the junk and garbage, and they're really low quality. If that's the case, I mean, I'm not thrilled about taking stuff like that. I don't take stuff like that. I'm very fortunate and lucky that there's a company out there that puts the greatest stuff I've ever seen out there for people. But overall, if you're suffering and struggling, you got chronic fatigue syndrome, you got aches and pains, you got brain fog, you got dizziness, you got ringing in the ear, you got tinnitus, you got vertigo, you got skin problems and everything else, supplements are critical. They are. And it all depends. Like, when I say that, I'm not saying that just like, hey, one size fits all out there. Just go find supplements in the world. I'm talking about medical medium protocols. Ask your doctor if they're right for you, but medical medium protocols are critical for people who are sick and struggling for many years. And that's why people use medical medium information. They tried everything. They did that. They tried supplements out there. They've tried diets out there. They tried everything. And they still were sick. So it's not just about the loose term supplements. It's about the right tools. The details matter, and that's critical. Supplements that don't have alcohol in them. Supplements that aren't toxic. Supplements that aren't hiding ingredients in them that you shouldn't be consuming. All of that matters. So it's a question that takes a lot of information, a lot of details to answer it. But straightforward, if you're somebody that's really sick, you've been through hell and back, it's good to know where to start. Maybe one or two supplements, maybe something that can be really helpful. And so, yeah, the details matter, David. So let's move through here a little bit. Celery juice. That's a detail that matters. Something to know about celery juice. If you mix it with stuff, if you're putting lemon in it, you're killing a part of its power. If you're adding water to it, ice, you're killing a part of its power. Don't add things to your celery juice. Celery juice is antiviral, antibacterial, restores your HCl, makes your HCl rock solid over time so you can digest those proteins, break them down, kill off pathogens. That's info about HCl, killing off pathogens and bacteria and all of that. And so celery juice, if it's used right, can be so helpful for people. There's people out there that only do celery juice, and that's it. They do that one medical medium tool, and it's critical for them. So you guys, this is a free PDF, medicalmedium.com. I'm going through it a little bit. If you can see this, it's not $99. It's not $39. It is free, but costs money to make. Worked hard on it. I want you guys to have it for free. The link is in the profile. Link is in the description. Cucumber juice, another great option if you don't happen to have celery. Cucumber juice is another fantastic healing tool. Lemon, honey, ginger water, which I have right here if you guys don't mind. So good. I just couldn't help it. Heavy metal detox smoothie. Now, the lemon, honey, ginger water, when you drink this healing tonic when you first wake up, it will help your liver flush out toxins. Because when we're breathing in poor air quality, like most of us on the planet are breathing in poor air quality. First of all of us on the planet breathe in poor air quality. All of us. I don't care where you are on this planet. The air is circulating. You're not somewhere where the air hasn't been somewhere else. There's no such thing. You're not in a dome or a bubble somewhere where the only air you're breathing is in that dome or bubble. Wherever you are on this planet, you can be on a crisp, clean, fresh mountaintop, far away from civilization, and you can still be breathing in every single sea trail and dust and garbage and junk and everything else easily and not realize it. Sure, it's not maybe cleaner than being up against that junk and those pollutants and everything. But still, there's nowhere on the planet right now where you are free from breathing in toxins. Poor air quality everywhere on planet Earth. I'm so sorry. Did I deliver bad news about that? I can't help it. I'm not going to lie to you and be like, oh, the air quality is only poor here, not here. Oh, where do you live? You live out there? Oh no, air quality's perfect there. Not bad. Air quality's only bad here. That would be actually ridiculous. It's bad everywhere. Heavy metal detox smoothie. Why heavy metal detox smoothie? Because of the heavy metals that are in the air. Sea trails, traveling pesticides, DDT, right? DDT. Also, poor air quality from fires. Remember the 2 bunny rabbits that lit the fire because they were cold? Actually, the real story is a deer was playing with a pack of matches. So the deer had little deer hoofs and was trying to actually strike a match, found a pack of matches in the woods. Actually, and then it went up. Okay. Extractor smoothie. So back to the heavy metal smoothie. Sorry about this. It's there to bring heavy metals out of the body and other pollutants and toxins out of the body. So the scale gets tipped. The more goes in and doesn't leave us, the dirtier we get inside internally. That's liver included, all of it, our brain included. And then the scale is tipped and then something goes wrong. And now we're like visiting doctors, visiting therapists, visiting psychiatrists, because no one really understands about our neurological symptoms, how we got tremors at night and our body feels like it's vibrating and our tongue wiggles and our eyeballs feel like they're vibrating and we have a shooting pain in the back of the head no matter how many MRIs. And we did all these things, right? And you have all this stuff. Next thing you know it, you're at the psychiatrist and you're telling them that you got all this stuff. And they're like, well, take all these drugs. But do what your doctor, what's right by you and your doctor, of course. Ask your doctor what's right for you. Extractor smoothie, I'm very happy about. Extractor smoothie is helping a lot of people out there in the world right now. And that's also in this PDF, this free PDF. Extractor smoothie should never be underestimated. It's very powerful, very potent. That's a great one there. So then there's the exposure shots also in here too. The toxic heavy metals exposure shot, the chemtrails exposure shot, the pesticide, herbicide, and fungicide exposure shot, and so much more. A couple of tips also I want to say to you guys is extra leafy greens. That's a great one right there. So extra leafy greens is important. Cilantro, use it as a leafy green. Parsley, use it as a leafy green. So those are herbs that I love to use as leafy greens. Spinach is a great one right there. Easy one, too. You can do the medical medium spinach soup. You can use spinach in your salads. More spinach is better. Okay, so lettuces are great, too. But try to go with those darker leafy greens and leafy green herbs. Arugula, parsley, cilantro. Incredible for detoxifying the body, for grabbing onto pollutants, all kinds of other things that help to carry that out of the body as well. Guys, free PDF. Just wanted to drop that on you guys. So you can download it anytime. Link is on the profile. Link is in the description. So medicalmedium.com. You can find it there as well too. So keep that in mind when you get a chance. It's a great tool. Has so many great tools in it. It's really incredible. So I want to make sure you guys have these options. Empowerment is about having information, and information that can help you heal, strengthen you, help power you through. So it's not about fear or anything like that. We don't want to walk into a storm because we just don't fear it. It's not that. If we have to walk into a storm, we want to know what we can do to support our body and strengthen it as we're walking into a storm. And that's important right there, all of it. So here's a question right here. How long should we expect to feel detox symptoms? So keep in mind with a lot of people, okay? Everybody's different in so many ways. Somebody could think they're having a detox symptom, but they're dealing with a symptom. So that's important to know right there. Somebody could be thinking they're doing something that's making them detox, but they're not doing something that's making them detox. keep that in mind too. I've seen people out there in the world, right? And I've seen people on social media saying they're detoxing, and then they talk about what they're eating and doing, and I'm looking at them, I'm like, I don't think you're doing some detoxing with that right there. They're eating cheese or whatever it is that they're eating. So there's so much misinformation about detox. I'm going to do a podcast episode just letting you know it's a word that's way overused all the time by everybody. Okay, and it's way overused by people outside of the medical medium information. So a lot of people be like, all medical medium does is talk about detox. That's kind of strange because that's not what medical medium only talks about. So that's kind of a term that's used out there in the world throughout the years when someone doesn't know why someone is sick and what's happening to them. Medical medium info cleared the air with that by giving people the information that allowed them to find out why they were sick and why they were struggling, what these symptoms were, and what was happening with their health. That information was critical for people to heal. But detox is thrown into everything now out there. It's also a term that's used to sell products now. So all you're going to do is hear the word detox out there. Because detox, they're basically aligning detox with products. So everybody, becomes like a sales pitch out there with the detox word. So keep that in mind too. But a lot of people don't realize it. If they have a flare up with something or they were sick with something anyway, they don't realize what's detox or not. That's important to know. I'm going to go into detail on the whole process about detox. A lot of people blame real symptoms on detox, which is wrong. It's not detox. It's a symptom that was already there. That's critical to know too. So I'm just giving you little tidbits about detox. But I see it all the time on social media. I see people saying they're detoxing, and then you're seeing what they're eating, and then you're like, okay, with what you're eating, I don't know what kind of real detox you're doing, because it's impossible to detox when you're on nuts and seeds. It's impossible to detox when you're on nut butters. It's impossible to detox when you're on olive oil. I'm not saying these things are good or bad, so don't get scared. I'm not saying that. Also, people blame detox when really they are emotional because they're not drowning their emotions out. So a lot of people have emotions that are surfacing because they're not suppressing those emotions with food. So it's a tricky situation we can get into when we're doing comfort foods, including vegan comfort foods out there. I've seen a lot of intense vegan comfort foods. We can suppress our emotions with eating, no judgment. It's hard down here on planet Earth. It's not an easy place to live. And so we can easily suppress our emotions with food. And that happens a lot with so many people. So once you're taking some of those foods away, the emotions are just going to pour out. And it's like, as they're starting to surface and pour out, it's like, we got to get that food in us. We got to get that emotional food to suppress it, the comfort food to suppress it. Understandably so, and rightfully so. A lot of people have it really hard. They lean on food, completely understand. I've seen this out there. It's a normal human experience and a difficult one for so many people. But that alone can create an emotional detox. And that's really intense all on its own. So detoxing is, you can't package it all in one word. Like, it's detox, it's detox, it's detox. There's a lot of people in health that don't know what's happening with, there's a lot of people that work in the health space. They have clients, and there's a lot of health coaches that have clients, and they don't know why, no disrespect, but they don't know why their client is having a symptom or their client is having something happen. And so it's so easy just to say, you're detoxing. That's what it is. You're detoxing. That's what it is. So it's kind of easy to do that. I'm not judging any health coach or anybody around that. It's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying it's an easy word to throw around and toss about. One that's tossed about way too much in too many ways, too many times. So is detoxification, a real thing? Yes, it is. But it's such a mixed bag of nuts. And there are people who don't know what's happening with their body or inside their body because they haven't been taught why they're sick and what their symptoms are. And so they'll come across somebody that just tells them they're detoxing. And it's like, no. I've seen this with friends. I've seen this with people I've known out there. They did not know why they were sick, and somebody told them it's detox. It's like, no. You're dealing with a viral infection. So there's so many different levels of how it works. So I'm just giving you a couple of tidbits, but honestly, it takes a podcast episode, and we're just going to have to jam pack that episode like to the tilt, because there's so many details around detox that are critical to know and critical to understand. Basically, it's overused. Most of the time, it's used for the wrong reasons. Most of the time, it's just a word to paper over and blanket something someone doesn't understand. And we have to be careful with that word detox. And it's being used with selling products right now, big time. Skin products, facial products, internal products, body products, hair products. It's just a great term being thrown out. It's being weaponized. So that's another thing too, is the word detox was being weaponized against, kind of infiltrated into the medical medium community. It's not that I ever said detox isn't real, or I never talked about detox before. That's not true, but it filtered into the medical medium community and became like a weapon and has confused a lot of people. And so that's something that happens too. A lot of times somebody might go through a serious emotional experience. It lowered their immune system. They had a flare up, and then someone said it's detox. That's really common. But really, you went through an emotional experience a month ago, and that emotional experience lowered your immune system. Now it's time to actually build that immune system up and do the right things. But someone will say, no, it's detox. Stop everything you're doing. That's something I've seen a lot, and it's saddening. I've seen people move forward, and then they get exposure to something or an emotional experience and exposure to something. Their immune system drops. They get a little bit of a flare up, and then someone who thinks they knows everything, they'll say, oh, it's detox, stop everything. And now they're getting worse because they stopped everything that was healing them to begin with. Because a lot of times when you're going through something, people are drowning their feelings and body with adrenaline and comfort foods to override it. So when we're up against stress and emotional abuse and emotional struggles and all of that, we drown our bodies with either adrenaline or adrenaline and food, and we're pumped up with this, and we get really toxic from all of that. And a lot of people don't realize. And so detoxing, yeah, it's a real thing. But like I said, it's overused, And you can feel good doing it too. You can feel like, whoa, I'm eating all this food, and I feel good, and everything else, and we're suppressing everything, and we're drowning ourselves with adrenaline from the comfort food. So I just want to put a little clarity on that too. When you eat a food that you've refrained from for a while, because that food is probably not helping you. That food is probably not that great, but you refrained from that food for a while. And then you eat that food, you get an adrenaline rush, an adrenaline surge, and you get euphoric from having that food. And so then you think, whoa, I just stopped my detox. But really, you just got jacked up on a tremendous amount of adrenaline. Happens all the time. I've seen people with chocolate, the war of chocolate. They have like a war with themselves with chocolate. They have a chocolate drawer. So they got like all their chocolate in here, and they know not to have too much of it because they know they can get so jacked up from it. But if they stay away from that chocolate for a little while and then they go and they have that piece of chocolate, they get euphoric and adrenaline floods them, and they're like, whoa, I just broke a detox. No, you didn't break a detox. You're saturated with adrenaline. The cocoa butter, the cacao butter, any kind of fat can also saturate our bodies with adrenaline too. That's another thing that happens. Chocolate will surge adrenaline, and that gives you the feeling, the euphoric feeling, right? Between the caffeine and the adrenaline both combined, and you feel high, and you're like, I don't know why, that feels so good. I slowed down my detox. I stopped my detox. And then there's chemicals in food and natural flavors in food. The MSG gives us a feeling too of like a euphoric, addictive feeling that ends up surging our adrenaline too. So when we stay away from those foods, we're really feeling how sick we really are. And then when you bring some of these foods back in, you're like, you get high for a moment. You're like, wait a minute. I've seen people go on a massive indulgence where they're just like, oh my God, I could eat everything I want now. And I feel good. But what you don't see a month later is they won't post on social media that they have tanked and they are feeling crappy again and their food took them down. You won't see that. Coffee and matcha tea, same thing. A lot of times you'll see people where they're actually they're keeping to something. They're keeping to a routine. They're actually eating good. They're keeping to something. Maybe they're doing a medical medium 369 for a while. Maybe they're taking care of themselves and they're keeping out the garbage and the junk, right? They're keeping out the trigger foods. They're keeping out the brain rotting foods, the troublemakers, and they're keeping all that out. And then they start eating something. They're back to eating a lot of cacao. They're back to eating something else. They're back to eating pizza, whatever it is. And they feel euphoric and high and they're on adrenaline and they feel amazing and they feel so good. And they're like, I should have been eating anything I ever wanted. This is all I needed to do was just eat what I wanted and all my problems would be fine. I don't know what I was doing. I was detoxing all that time, always detoxing. I'm sick of detoxing. And now I'm eating so good and eating anything I want. That medical medium was wrong or that medical medium person was wrong, whatever it is. And then like they're shooting out their posts like, I feel good. I just needed to do this. I just needed this meditation and I could eat whatever I wanted. I just need this neuro realignment tool and I could just eat what I want. And then what you don't see after you see all those posts, you don't see a couple months later, someone who's back on all of the medical medium stuff, the morning cleanses, the mono cleanses, the heavy metal detox smoothies, the 369s. They're back on their celery juice. They're back on all that, but they're not going to go and correct everything because they're going to look like a moron. So they're not going to go and bite the bullet and go and do a post saying, you know what, I actually had it wrong. And now I'm back on stuff. No one corrects it. They never do it. You never know what happens to them 2 months later. And many people heal and then they go eat what they want and they get high on it. And when you get high on it, you think you're just like, whoa. And they end up just shitting on what got them better. They end up shitting on what got them better. We're doing a little detox talk right now. How about that? What's the chances of that? Didn't expect that today. I'm at your disposal. That's why. I'm at your service. Did not expect to be talking so much about detox. So many people heal with the medical medium information, then go run around, eat what they want, and end up shitting on everything that got them better in the first place. I had to say it again because I just like the way it sounds for some reason. Anyway, I want you guys to take care of yourselves. Okay? It's all about taking care of yourselves. Free PDF. It's free. No strings attached. There's no firewall. No pun intended. No paywall. Nothing. You guys, it's packed with information, packed with tools. Do one tool. Do maybe two. Ask your doctor what's right for you. If your doctor will let you do any of the tools in here. Ask your doctor what's right for you. And take care of yourself. I held back my celery drinking for the day because I wanted to have a celery juice here for today, for the moment. So that's my celery juice. I'm going to drink this. And you guys, I'm proud of all of you. Just know that. And a shout out to Germany right now. They're doing a festival. And proud of everybody there. Truly, you guys. Check out my Telegram message. I'm doing some more Telegram messages coming up. Check out my Telegram audio messages when you get a chance. I just did one recently. Go to medicalmedium.com. Constantly doing some incredible stuff with the website so people have more information. And follow Medical Medium on TikTok if you can, because we're going to try it again. We're going to try it again. And maybe I'll do some of that comedy stuff on TikTok, you know, if you guys like that. I'm not sure if you guys like that. Maybe I'll do a little bit of that and some other things too. But I'm going to make sure real informational stuff, like everywhere I put informational stuff, but I'll do some exclusive stuff for fun. Yeah. Right on. And check out the Medical Medium podcast when you get a chance. Not sure if you guys have listened to the Medical Medium podcast lately. Two. Get a newsletter because a light blast will be coming up. Spirit of Compassion will provide a light blast. I'm actually really excited about that, to be honest. So get on the newsletter. Light blast will be coming up. Go to medicalmedium.com so you can get on that light blast newsletter. But you got to be signed up. So you got to know when that light blast is happening. And you got to get on there. Last time we had 20,000+ people is all our machine can handle. Technology, whatever, can handle. And we had to shut down the signups after 1 hour. Less than 1 hour. And we had 21,000 signups for the light blast, Medical Medium light blast. I think if we open, we're trying to set up the technology so we can open the floodgate and not just have to shut it down in 1 hour. We can open up the floodgate for the light blast for multiple hours, and we'll probably get 60 or 80,000 people and so forth. And that's what we want, to be able to have the machine ready for a lot of people to get the light blast. Machine meaning technology, so that everybody could be there live and we could actually pull it off. It takes a lot. You guys, moon meditation. Yep. Medical Medium podcast at Apple Podcasts. I see that, moon meditation. I have done the moon meditation recently. Lorraine L. Yes, comedy gold. You got it. Coming right up. I'm at your service. I'm excited. I want to do some fun stuff. I want to do some funny stuff. But I also want to do some serious stuff as well. Yep. All right, you guys. God bless you. And see you soon.